Pecha Kucha 37, photo bashing, and the cast summer show. So this week I really should have started putting the future into practice, but I'm kind of dragging my heels, dragging my feet, because the university course isn't technically finished, and I'm not even sure what I'm expected to do. I just know I'm expected to do it. But I spoke to a friend on the course, freelance illustrator, and he kind of ran me through some photo bashing techniques, so you kind of collage elements in to give a rough idea of what you want here. This is my little Batman test. So I stole the sky from one place, the cityscape from somewhere else, added a little bit of fog. And he was kind of walking me through some shortcuts and stuff as well. So he was talking to me about what it means when you've got contiguous clicked. It's about using magic wand tools and stuff. So it's about how Photoshop selects the things for you to edit, and contiguous off is usually the smartest play. Google SketchUp is an excellent reference thing for making 3D models. I know a lot of comic book artists use it. I remember one guy saying he made a shield helicarrier in there. This was a little YouTube video about a submarine. He started with the exterior and then he went in and started looking at what's the inside areas. Poser, made by the same people who make Manga Studio, which is called something else now, is a good idea for 3D character models. It's not cheap. There are cheap versions, but I was kind of thinking about getting things like this, massive single purchases that I then have. Places to actually find work, my freelance friend was telling me about. People Per Hour is a great place to go if you're a freelancer. I'm thinking about being a freelance blogger as well as an illustrator, and apparently there could be work to be found here as well for that. So I need to have a good route around, set up an account and stuff like that. Here's my terrible picture off my phone of a Mac at the university, of the kind of shortcuts I could remember. I didn't bring anything to take notes because I didn't know I was going to get schooling. A lot of shortcuts and a few design things that help bring your images together when you photo bash. So the cast summer show is getting no traction from the student body, probably because we're being asked to do more work than we've ever been asked to do before for these things. Because there's going to be a shop, they're trying to get the students to provide stuff to sell as well as man the shop. Little crappy publications and badges aren't really going to bring out the most enthusiasm from a student body, I think, which is ultimately apathetic at the best of times. Yeah, I don't know what you do with badges. I mean, who wears badges? I feel like the cut-off age for badges is like 10. So we had a little meeting about all of this, and at the end they talked about the MA by project thing at the London Met, because I think it's a new course and they want people on. It could be interesting. It seems like it's about how to do something and how to get out there in the real world, and really the MA is about becoming an independent practitioner, which is what I thought the BA would be about. And out of that came this knowledge that apparently I might be able to get funding through student finance, literally just like with my BA with an MA course. So this might genuinely be an option for the future that I might have to take, because being self-employed could just tank my finances. So I was the writer for the Hot House summer show last year, and as I was trying to Google this to prove that it happened and to prove that my name were on these things, I couldn't find it through Google. I finally found the Cass Hot House stuff that I kind of did, but I had to go through London Met's website and follow the links. This is the level of professionalism you can kind of expect from the people I'm associating with. It's makes me question if I should even do it this year, although I've already agreed. Is it going to help my credibility in the future? I don't know. So, just like I spoke about Injustice 2 last week, let's talk about Tekken 7 this week. The narrative, they clearly know what NetherRealm does, because they've tried to incorporate some of those things in. The plot's convoluted, but I mean, when you get to the 8th game in the series, of course it's convoluted. A lot in the story mode, during the fights, the mechanics sometimes change to kind of emphasize what's going on in the story, which is a good move, I think. Here Heihachi's fighting a load of jacks, and you can see corpses of previous jacks on the floor. It's crazy. But it's interesting. It's difficult to tell from this screenshot, but this is in the middle of a fight. Like flashbacks are coming up on the screen, a lot like Metal Gear Solid 4 did with its last boss fight. So it's kind of trying to put, and the screenshots from previous Tekken games as well, so that they know they have a bit of a legacy, convoluted as it is, and they try and play on it. Something that's always been weird about Tekken is every character speaks their native tongue. Heihachi speaks Japanese, Nina on the left speaks English. They're talking to each other, but Nina's still talking in English. Heihachi is responding in Japanese. It's weird. It's bizarre. It's perfectly possible that could rationally happen, but I don't think it's a particularly clever way to go about doing that kind of thing. Another problem is that some of the arcade endings, much as they've always been, are goofy to the point of ridiculous. Paul Phoenix, again, is a laughing stock, and for one of the most dangerous characters on the roster, it just seems a waste of time. Cinema Sins is something I've been watching a ridiculous amount of over the last few weeks. Films I've seen, films I haven't. They're kind of tongue-in-cheek OCD criticisms of films, from continuity errors to just, silly things. I find it very entertaining, very watchable, very Moorish. So what do I need to do? I don't need, I've got to do stuff from the summer show starting on Monday, and they're panicking and they're trying to get people to come in all day, every day until the show happens. This happens every year. Students don't. They do it on the last day and it's fine. So we'll see what happens. Whatever happens with the university, it's time to start putting feet forward for the future. And Smiley Show is something that I got to do. I want to do. I don't care if I make money off it. So I need to really set up a system, much like this Pecha Kucha, for Smiley Show production. And then just get into the habit of regularly, watching tutorials, practicing, just putting the work in and getting used to the habit of putting the work in. I might have to get a part-time job, I might not. Whatever happens, I'm still going to need to increase my, my skills. So that's what's, going to be in the future. So that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 37, and I will see you next time.